I was
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
You play to win the game.
And I don't think I got anything left to give, and that's it.
20 years, and this is last year in my contract. I'm sure a lot of people are like, yes.
Welcome back to the Frenzy, where we play the world's most dangerous game of NFL Pick'em. I'm Russell Franchise, and last week I went a good 5-1. I'm back to my winning ways, and that's how it's always going to be. Now, I'm here to answer some of the critics about the content that I've been putting on the show for the past 5 weeks. Of course, the Frenzy is always an ever-changing show, but some of our content has been a little bit low grade. For instance, week 1, we aired a cartoon where someone managed to call Des Bryant's mom Hope. Week 2, Packer Franchise downed a bottle of NyQuil to the chagrin of most fans. Week 4, we managed to call most of the people who live in Alabama racist. But we, from this point on, are going the high road. No more low blows or snide comments anymore. It starts with this week's picks, and it starts off with Big Ben making his return back to the Steelers.
In your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to rape them, so y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
Wow, that did not last as long as I thought it would have.
The Steelers get Big Ben back after 4 weeks of suspension, but the Steelers aren't in any real trouble. They managed to do good with a 3-1 record, but now that Big Ben is back, I see the Steelers make a serious run in the AFC North. But it all starts off with the Browns. And while the Browns are looking better this season, they will need a hot college pro with high standards to keep Big Ben from winning this one. I see the Steelers winning big against the Browns.
By now, you may now know about the allegations going against Brett Favre that he sent lewd photos and creepy voicemails to a former Jets hostess during his time in New York. While we do not have any evidence other than the ones that have been presented already, we have managed to scrape some evidence together and formed this cartoon to show what might have happened to lead up to this point. Now, I will say this. There are mentions of the word man junk in there. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey baby, what's up with you?
Brett, why are you bothering me so much?
I don't know what you were talking about.
You keep trying to hook up with me. You sent new messages on MySpace. Then you keep leaving creepy voicemails on my phone. Now, I get.
You got that picture of my junk, didn't you?
Why did you do that? Aren't you a married man?
Look, I'm not perfect. But a world-class quarterback like me has needs.
Don't you have a wife for that?
Deanna. She's cool with it.
I'm not. Look, I'm a very professional sportswoman.
Wait, didn't you used to be the Florida State girl who dressed up in those slutty outfits and cowboy hat? I believe you were spotted by Brent Musburger during a Clemson home game in the stands.
Well, that was during college days. I was immature back then.
Then, you decided to pose for Playboy and show your goodies to the world for a little bit of money.
Well, I had to capitalize on my fame.
So, you're telling me that it's okay for you to show your goodies to the world and that's fine and dandy. But when I take a picture of my man junk with my iPhone and send it to you, you all of a sudden take offense to it.
It's totally different.
You know, you're a huge hypocrite, Jen. I hope you get the worst out of life.
I hate you so much. Oh, by the way, they might call you the old gunslinger, but after looking at your photos, you only have a tiny pea shooter.
That's cold. Real cold.
The Vikings face a similar foe in the Cowboys. Both teams 1-4 and desperate of a win to keep up in the playoff chase. While one more loss would not ruin their season, both teams need to get on the same accord. But I actually see Moss and Favre actually hooking up once again and getting another big win against the Cowboys.
the Browns, the Jags, and the Redskins on the road to Ingram for a shot to get the great talented running back Mark Ingram on their team next draft year. However, they proved me wrong in my judgment, so much so that the week that I picked them on the road to Ingram, they all won their games respectively. Also, the Jags and the Redskins are currently on a 2-game winning streak. Wow, I don't really know which team I'm going to have to take out the road to Ingram, but I'll have that decision next week. For now, there's 2 teams that have some big games coming up this week that might play in their road if they can get out of the road to Ingram.
It's McNabb versus Manning on Sunday night as the Redskins take on the Colts. And while the Colts have been dominating as they were last year, this does prove to be a great matchup between the two. I see the Colts, led by Peyton Manning, to actually lead over the Redskins and Albert Haynesworth if he chooses to play, and get the win in Washington. It's a Monday night showdown between 2 top teams on top of the AFC South in a battle of who's going to reign supreme. The Titans are looking good, whereas the Jaguars are looking like possible contenders. However, I see Chris Johnson and Vince Young getting the best of this young Jags team and giving them their 3rd loss of the year. I'll take the Titans over the Jags.
As always, the road to Ingram is sponsored by the State Tourism Board of Alabama. We'll be right back.
Alabama congratulates the South Carolina Gamecocks on defeating the Alabama Crimson Tide in a big rivalry game this past Saturday. While we're heartbroken that Alabama lost to such a compatible team, we're happy that all our players played to the best of their abilities. However, we are kind of all pissed off at Nick Saban, who might have cost us a chance at another national championship through his faulty coaching. On behalf of the state of Alabama, Nick Saban, go to hell. Alabama, we hate you so much, Nick Saban. Paid for by the State Tourism Board. South Carolina did the impossible. A number 19 team in the nation upset the number 1 team in the nation and caused a whole shakeup in the polls. However, South Carolina must seize on this momentum. They haven't won a road SEC game since 2 years ago, so this is a big game for them to prove that this wasn't a fluke. I'll take South Carolina to beat Kentucky on the road and show the world that they are for real. And speaking of upsets, well, last week I thought the 49ers would turn things around against the Eagles. Instead, they continue to lose. The odds makers are making the Niners a 6.5-point favorite against the Raiders. But come on, guys. The 49ers are officially done. I see the Raiders giving them the rights and getting a big upset against their crosstown rivals this Sunday.
Well, those are my picks for this week. Next week, I'll try to do better. Why don't you join me on Facebook right now at Franchise Football Frenzy on Facebook. That way you'll get to jump on next week's episode, as well as 13 things I've learned from the previous week, which is an insightful view of what I feel is the most important things of the previous week. Always funny, always insightful, and it's always free by going to Franchise Football Frenzy on Facebook. Why don't you also click this picture of me right now and join the Frenzy's video page so you can get to jump on next week's episode. Well, that's my time. My name is Russell Franchise, saying thank you for watching. And remember, my picks are so good, you can take them to the bank. But I wouldn't advise it. He's getting froggy, guys.